audience have taken one of those 23andMe genetic tests? I have, but for me it was a waste of $100 because it only confirmed what my family already knew. So instead of getting some sort of genetic surprise, all I got was an "I told you so" from my grandmother. So what does 23andMe and my research on corals have in common? They both use the genetic information encoded in DNA to better understand where an individual comes from. So much like the analysis of my DNA can tell me about the genetic mixing and migration patterns of my ancestors, studying the DNA of ecologically and economically important species like corals can tell us about the diversity and dynamics of their populations, which in this case is defined as a group of individuals of the same species within a given geographical area. So genetic analyses like these use variability in a number of DNA markers to measure the level of genetic similarity or genetic differences among these populations. Much like most marine organisms, my study species, the great star coral, spends part of its life cycle in a larval phase, where it drifts along carried by an ocean current until it's mature enough and reaches suitable habitat, when it then settles out and grows into its adult life stage. When we measure high levels of genetic similarity among these populations, we can oftentimes infer that there's at least some level of larval transport or larval mixing occurring among them as well. My thesis research has so far focused on characterizing the populations of the great star coral from Cuba. So what we have found so far is that there is a high level of connectivity, genetic connectivity, between Cuba and reefs downstream, like the ones here off the coast of Florida. So what we are thinking is that Floridian coral reefs may be receiving larvae that's exported from Cuban coral reefs. If continued genetic analyses keep supporting this conclusion, then it will be imperative for scientists, managers, and governments of both countries to work together across political barriers and international boundaries to cooperatively manage these species that are inextricably ecologically connected. It is only through this type of international cooperative management that we can ensure that coral reefs will persist long into the future for distant generations to enjoy. Thank you.